There are so many ways to screw up in the NFT space. Being an automated bidder brings you to the safer side, but there are still huge risks. I am David, one of the founders of NFT Butler, and in this video I'm going to show you two scenarios that are very risky for bidders and what you can do to prevent them of screwing you up. I will obviously show you then some of the security features of NFT Butler, but I also want to show you how I use them on a daily basis for my maintenance of tasks for optimal bidding. So the first scenario that I want to talk about is a whale is dumping a ton of tokens on a collection that you're currently bidding on, or maybe there's some FUD happening on Twitter and the floor price is dropping rapidly. So the initial assumptions about the profitability of the tokens that you're bidding on have completely changed, and it would be wise to stop the bidding task. But maybe you're sleeping right now, and until you wake up, your bag might be filled with worthless tokens. That is not an ideal situation, and let's see and have a look what NFT Butler can do to prevent these situations. The first feature I want to talk about is the collection and trade floor price cap. But before I get into details, I need to tell you why NFT Butler's functionality here is outstanding. There is no other tool in the space or in the competition that is able to do what we are doing, and that is on every bid we are checking the current trade floor. This is only possible because we did a huge database in the background that is mirroring all the OpenSea data, and so we are really doing something that no one else can. What the others are doing is doing it, from time to time, but no one else is doing real-time checks on every bid. So you're here in safe hands. All right, so let's have a look how the trade floor cap looks within NFT Butler and how it can prevent such bad situations happening to you. You see here, I'm on my CTO page. I have mostly trade bidding tasks configured, and I have one of them running, which is the Wrecked Guy collection and the trade outline lit. So you see here that I'm bidding on minus 20% of the floor price to 5% above the floor price. You can see that this gives me still quite some room to the actual trade floor price, but you should always go and check the statistics and the latest sales, because the latest sales are actually what indicate you the real floor price. So to what price was this traded the last time? So you see my configuration, and now I want to be on the safe side so nothing bad happens to me when the floor price suddenly crashes. So I can configure here a collection floor price cap or a trade floor price cap. I usually don't use the collection floor price cap. I usually only work with trade floor price cap, but that's because I'm mostly bidding on trades. I'm no big fan of collection bidding because the competition is so high there. But would I configure a trade floor price cap? I would put that somewhere here, 0.7. And my trade floor cap, I would put somewhere here, around 1.2. To showcase this, put a little bit a higher cap, update the task, quickly start here the engine, then you see it running and it drops an error. It says that it skipped that job because the configured trade floor price. So it did exactly what was desired. It did not bid because it was beneath the floor price cap. But let's put it back to a realistic number, something like that. Quickly restart the engine, then this task will run again. And then you see that everything went through. And I can now let the bot run and do not have to be afraid that it keeps bidding when the floor prices are dropping. I want to spoil at this moment also how I use that for daily maintenance of my tasks. I'm gonna repeat this one and quickly start the engine again. So what I do is I go every day through all my trade bidding tasks and check which one has this state. quickly checking, okay, it did stop because of the trade floor price, and then I'm investigating and adjusting the prices. So that's the only thing I do every day. I just get in, adjust the prices, and let it run. Sometimes I figure out, okay, here's something bad must have happened, and then I do my research. But the whole idea is to keep the maintenance low, and this feature helps me a lot to do that day for day. All right, let's have a look at the second scenario that can be really bad for bidders. I gotta activate this task as an example. Here you see I'm quite aggressively bidding relative to the floor price. I'm willing to bid the double of the current floor price here. What happens now if a whale comes and sweeps the floor and let's say the floor price doubles? Then my bids would go through the roof and actually quadruple, and this might lead to loss. So what can I do to prevent this from happening? We have here the hard cap bid price. And I could set this to 0.1 ETH. I do not want to bid higher than that. I'm willing to pay the double of the floor, but not higher than that. So I would be safe in situations like that. I highly recommend working with this cap when you work with relative to floor prices, because you never know what happens. And of course, there is more that I can recommend to stay on the safer side. Two recommendations that I can also give is to work with relative numbers instead of absolute numbers, so you're automatically moving along the floor price movements. And I also recommend to have as short bid validities as possible. This is absolutely true for collection and trade bids. For token bids, you will need a little bit longer, maybe half an hour, 2 hour, or even more duration, so the token bids make sense. Then I want to show you the next feature, which is the asset limitation. This is something that the community has asked for and we have delivered. With this feature, you simply can define how many assets you're willing to hold in maximum of a specified contract. So that's very important here. It's not collection, it's not trade, it's contract for the moment. And when you have reached this limit, the bot won't do any further bids until that token has left your wallet. This is very interesting as soon as we have delivered the auto listing. So that's the feature that we are working on next, and making this whole experience of automated bidding, buying, selling, completely automated. That's the vision. All right, then the last thing that I want to show you is the maximum active bids. So this is relevant especially for collection bidding. If you have, for example, 5 collection bids active at the same time and the whale decides to dump the floor, then you would suffer. But if you have here maximum active bids defined and you have maybe 1 or 2, you can limit the risk. So you limit how much you expose to one collection. All right, then these were our security features. I hope you understand now why so many traders like using NFT Butler. We have put a lot of effort into these things and are working hard to give you the best and most secure experience. And yeah, if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe, please join our Discord, and there is even a free trial available, so you can just come over and test out the tool with all its functionality without any risk. So come over, say hello, and cheers, guys.